The Victorian age for children was shaped not by opportunity, but by necessity. Childhood, as we understand it today, did not exist in quite the same way. For thousands, it was brief, uncertain, and closely tied to the demands of the world around them. To understand the Victorian era fully, we have to look not only at what was built, but at those who were expected to grow up within it.
Welcome to Literally Victorian with your host, Matthew Lee Hanson.
Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Matthew and I'm glad to be with you once again. Now, for many families in the Victorian era, survival depended on contribution, and that contribution often included children. Work began early, sometimes as young as 5 or 6, not as an exception, but as part of daily life. Factories, workshops and streets all made use of smaller hands, quicker movements and lower wages. This was not always seen as unusual. It was, in many cases, expected. Children were not necessarily viewed as separate from the working world, but as part of it, learning, contributing, and adapting from an early age. But while this may have been practical, it also meant that childhood, in its softer sense, was often limited. In factories, children were often assigned tasks that required agility or size, working close to machinery, moving through narrow spaces, or repeating the same motions for hours at a time. The work itself was not always complex, but it was constant. Days were long, structured by bells and routine. There was little variation and little opportunity to step outside of it. For those working the streets, life was less structured, but no less demanding. Selling small goods, cleaning boots, or carrying messages, each day depended on being seen and on the willingness of others to stop. There was no guarantee of income, only the effort to try again the following day. For children without stable homes, life could become far more uncertain. Poverty in Victorian cities was widespread, and for those without family support, options were limited. Some entered workhouses, institutions designed to provide shelter and food, but often at the cost of strict routine and separation. Others found their way into charitable homes and orphanages. These were often established with the intention of providing care, structure, and opportunity. And in many cases, they did. But life within them was still shaped by rules, schedules, and expectations. The aim was not only to protect, but to prepare, to guide children toward a life of work, discipline, and independence. Figures such as Dr. Thomas Bernardo worked to create spaces where children could be taken in, supported, and given a chance at stability. These efforts marked an important shift, a recognition that care could be organized and that responsibility extended beyond the individual family. But even within these systems, life was structured. Days followed routine. Decisions were made collectively rather than personally. There was safety, but also a sense of distance, a life shaped more by system than by choice. If we pause for a moment, we can imagine what that experience may have felt like. Here is a narrative from an historical resource. We are told when to rise and when to sleep, and the day moves in the same way each time. There is always something to be done, and little reason to question it. It is not unkind, but it is not ours. We follow what is expected, and in doing so, we remain where we are. The Victorian age created systems, structures, and opportunities that shaped the modern world. But those systems were lived within, not only by those remembered, but by those often overlooked. To understand the era fully is to recognize both, not only the progress that was made, but the lives that carried it forward. The Victorian world may feel distant, but in many ways its echoes still remain today. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to be notified about any news and/or releases. Until next time, bye for now.